I got into the gaming industry because when I was, I don't know, 4 or 5, I loved playing games and I wanted to know how they work. And so I started looking at QBasic Games. I think Bill Gates wrote this game called Donkey, where you go back and forth on a road. It's a very simple game from a million years ago. And the thing about BASIC is that the source code of the game comes with the game. And so if you can play the game, you can read the source code of how the game works. And so I remember reading the source code when I was 5 or 6 or 7, just like, how does this work? And I just kept at it for years. And eventually I started programming my own games. I also have been very interested in multiplayer, how people interact with each other. And when we're here in a room together, it works well. But when we're on a phone or a computer, how do you keep that real-time, face-to-face kind of feeling on a digital platform? And so putting those together, I really like games that people play with each other. Well, so I think that there are some people who treat certain experiences as something they want to do alone. Maybe they want to play games alone, maybe they want to eat their lunch alone, right? I think Messenger, by its definition, is a social platform. The whole purpose of it is to talk, right? If you're the only one on Messenger with no friends, then what's the point of Messenger, right? And so we know for a fact that if someone's in Messenger, it's because they want to interact with another human being. And so we made it so you can't play the game unless you have at least one other friend on Messenger. So I think it changes over time. Who's the most used Guardian? On the one hand, everybody starts with Alice, so you could say 100% of people use Alice. On the other hand, everybody tries as hard as they can to get Jade or Arcana, and so once they get those fairies, they're so excited that they have them, they use them all the time. And then I think in the middle, as people get better, they always want to first make a lot more money with Lily, and then they switch to just wanting to be able to collect all the gems, with Aurora. And so, the last thing I'd say, I know I'm not answering directly, but when it comes to questing, there's a couple of direct fairies that work quite well. So, Sophia and Fiona on the quests, because they either double the dragon's experience or double the quest amount. So it's a bit of a range. I will say this, the number one fairy has changed 15 different times over time. And the reason is that we make small adjustments to their powers. And then the top players kind of see that and they adjust their thinking. I think, right now the top fairy for the boss raids is, I think it's actually right now. It would be Jade, but not everyone has Jade. Big boss. That's a great question.
Spike.
Well, so it's not just Spike. I think Spike is really fun once you get in the groove. I think the people who really understand Spike love Spike. But that said, if you play a Spike with a modifier, like there's Spike from Hell, it's Spike and then there's meteorites that come down. And so you have to dodge the stalactites, the icicles dropping, you have to dodge the meteorites, and as well as the Spike that comes up, as well as the snowballs. It's quite hard. So what's so amazing about Everwing in particular is that there's some element of the fact that it's using your time, but you're doing it with friends or with people in groups, and a lot of folks will go online, they'll go to Reddit or something like that, and they'll try to find other people all around the world to play with. And so we have these groups of people who've been friends for a long time, for many, many months. And they'll make friends with people who are in the United States or in Japan, or in Europe, and keep in touch with them. And then they become, your friends and your buddies that you play with for a long period of time. And so I think having social games is really, really interesting because you get to know the people you play with. That's a great question. The gameplay has a theoretical last moment where when you get to that moment, it becomes physically impossible. Like if we run all the numbers, all the equations, the speed of light, everything, you cannot pass that. And no one has gotten there yet. I think no one's even gotten halfway there. But people have gotten a lot farther than we thought. When we first created the game, we thought, it's normal maybe to get, for the best players to get 3,000 or 4,000 points. And that's not true at all. It turns out people are getting 15 to 20,000 points at the high end. So we'll see how far people get. If they get that far, then we'll probably add some more levels.